Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 4th, and this is The Black Show. What's good, y'all? It's Kenny Camps here. So today's topics, I got a couple of them today, I guess. Upgrading the set a little bit too. And I got the laptop here just to keep me on track a little bit because I know I tend to kind of fade off ADHD wise. So now this is a way that I can kind of Kamala Harris it and keep notes so I can make sure I'm talking about what I'm supposed to be talking about or what I'm intended to talk about. But the first thing I want to talk about today is how people use words but don't know the definition of them. You can see on this pod, I talk a lot about how dumbed down our society is as a whole. People get mad when they hear that, but one thing I've learned in life is like if you don't identify the problem out loud, then it'll never be a solution for it. And like our population is really dumb in America. And in Milwaukee specifically, it was another study that came out that said we were, out of the major cities, we were the lowest ranking in education. And people try to say, well, that's because of the colleges. No, it starts in elementary school. That study was talking about colleges, but the way the college starts in elementary school. And you know what? Milwaukee's not smart enough to know that. Most people in Milwaukee are not. And that's not a shot on the people individually because you can only learn what you have the access to. And the kind of learning behind the books and being in the mix of that, like I learned that like it was never responsible spending at NPS, and they never had the best interest of the students in mind, like ever. Well, I don't know before, maybe when it started, but since I went to start at NPS in '04, because I went to Garden Homes Lutheran from K3 to 8th grade. It was across the street from my house, and then I went to Riverside in '03 was the first year I got there. '04. Man, they didn't care about us then. That's the part I just realizing, like me saying it out loud triggers or pisses people off. But like, I don't care because and Jimmy Dore says it. It was his phrase that he coined, but it's most people they act like adult children of alcoholics, meaning that they rather tell a person that's saying the problem to be quiet rather than like a look at what's actually happening so that we can fix and find a solution for everybody. And so when I was talking about NPS, especially in sports, because people looked at me crazy, but I am a football coach, yes, but all of my players know they my little brothers, for real. I don't have any little brothers. I'm an only boy. I got a bunch of sisters, so all my guys are my little brothers, for real. When I went to a game and it wasn't ambulance there, it wasn't an athletic trainer, it was just the coaches, the players, and the refs. And I'm looking and the officials up in the booth, and I'm like, what if somebody break their leg? On the south side, we was at South Stadium. I'm like, what if somebody break their leg or something? And then I think they was playing Madison, and Madison didn't have a lot of players. They only had like 20. I felt for them. They only had like 20 players. So, and they were like, they were going against Jaden Pickett plays for North Dakota State. Tobias went to Augustana. Now he went to a JUCO so he can get to a D1. Like they were playing against dudes. Like a lot of them dudes play college football from that class, from the two classes, especially the junior senior year. To where they called the game at like halftime, I think, or third quarter, because we was hitting them too hard. But I'm like, what if one of these kids got seriously hurt? That's on NPS athletics. And then when I called out the head of NPS athletics, then they stole my proposal for a football camp. And then the football camp didn't work because why? They didn't have us running it. Like we actually know the kids. Like in NPS, if I could put on a football camp at NPS and bring in Justice, bring in Eric Murray, bring in these people like that we know personally instead of having to try to go the business route of like, oh, let me contact their manager. I can just call this fool real quick. But it's an ego thing there. And it's an ego thing because the people that are in NPS and in administration there, they think they're better than the people that they're working with or working for. And it's a educational thing of like they got master's degrees, so no, they know better. Like, how do you know better if you don't even know the athletes? You're a paper pusher. Be a paper pusher. Let the people on the ground tell you what's happening and what's needed, and then push them papers for us. That's how it's supposed to work. But these positions, they have turned into like this, oh, you have prestige because you're the head of ABCD. Like, no, you work for us, fam. Our tax dollars are what pays these people in the education sector too. So that's why I'm on them. I'm like, no, I pay taxes. Like, I don't get no refund no more. So I'm paying this shit for real. Like, no, we finna be held accountable for every dollar like I am with business. Like, we know where every dollar is tracked and spent. So why can't I do that for the school if I gotta do that for my government? If I don't, I get audited and then I gotta pay fines. So why can't I do that for the schools? And then they did get audited. And y'all saw it was like a whole bunch of fucking money just missing, overstaffed. So like, why can't we criticize NPS? Why can't I say that out loud without getting pushback from the people who NPS is failing your kids? And you looking at me crazy, and that's the people that's failing your kids? I don't even have kids. I just coach. So I got a lot of little brothers, a lot of people that I'm like close with in NPS and coaches, coaching wise. Like, so I'm connected, but these are your kids. The most of the kids in NPS don't play sports. I'm arguing for shit that's going to help all of them. All of them. And people that are in Milwaukee have the nerve to look at me like I'm the crazy one. It don't make sense. Like, that's why I was like, y'all gotta be brainwashed, because like literally what y'all saying and doing has no logic attached to it. And then y'all look at people that's like moving kind of how I am and call us like, they look at, I remember when people started eating well, you know what I mean? Like talking about juicing and getting fruits and diets and stuff. And we were getting shamed by people who were eating McDonald's. Like, what? The fuck is you talking about? Like people that people that go. So I remember this. It was at the old group of people I used to hang out with, right? One of the dudes had a baby shower, right? Also, at his baby shower, it was a big ass bunny, and I am fucking so scared of inanimate like costume people, mascots. That creeps me out immediately. And there was a weird video I saw later in life that was taken that was super sketchy. And looking back, like, why was that video taken? But it was me when the reaction to that thing, and it was hilarious. But so this was the first time I had seen them in probably like 6 months as a group. And in that 6 months, I had dropped down. Like I had started working out, started doing kickboxing. Like, well, I wasn't doing kickboxing yet then. I think I was just working out and running and like walking a ton. And I ended up dropping down to like 170, 160. And instead of saying, and I throughout, so I came in as a college as an athlete. Then I made terrible life decisions from like 20 to like 28. I made like 8 years of terrible, bad life decisions. 27 bad life decisions. And I was coaching too. I was around just not good people. So I go to the baby shower. This is one of my old roommates from college and in adulthood, like early adulthood. And the first thing them niggas say to me is like, nigga, you like a crackhead. I'm like, bro. So when I was fat, niggas made fun of me for being fat. So then when I lose the weight and live healthy, niggas make fun of me for living healthy. Like, oh, you niggas just don't like me. And that's when a lot of shit started clicking in my life. A lot of the success took off because I got away from people like that did shit like that. Like, and I realized most people, they don't like it when people are doing something good for themselves if they're not willing to do it for themselves as like right now. So let me say that better. People get upset that other people are doing stuff for themselves because the people that are upset don't want to do the work to do it. So they project it on me. Like, I'm gonna get into it was supposed to be later in the show, but I'm gonna get into it now because of the flow of it. But so with this platform, right, I am trying to interview the actual city The actual people that are doing stuff in the city that I've known my whole life, that I feel like deserve a platform, right? And I'm running into one or two things. In the city of Milwaukee, people don't get on the train until stuff already going because they suspicious of the person doing it. Like, what is his angle? Once I see that shit, I no longer deal with you. Period. It's over. And it's not no hard feelings. It's because you don't have to do that with me because I am this on the surface. This is genuine. This is me. I don't change up when I'm talking to anybody. So, I make my intentions known from the gate. It's the most frustrating shit in the city, especially dealing with females that are doing things that I admire or like are successful or singers or anything that like, as a black man, I'm basically not allowed to do business or conduct regular business with women without the assumption that I want to talk to them. And it's so fucking frustrating, bro, because it's like right now, I got songs on this computer right now. If I had 2 R&B singers, they would be the biggest singers in the country. And we got everything to do it right in this room right now. But I can't find singers because they think that, oh, he's trying to talk to me. It's just it's a wrap around, a way around. That's why I was like, oh, y'all not serious. It was a family member I was working with. And like, it's no hard feelings with this family member, but it was so disrespectful how the family member came at me for no reason. I'm like, whoa, why are you talking to me like this? Like, we don't even know each other that well. I'm good on you. And it's not no hard feelings, but it's like I'm good on it because you shouldn't have that much emotion coming towards me when we don't even know each other like that. So when I'm talking to these, like working with, so it's a couple females, I'm like, hey, come on the pod. Like, tell about your business, like promotion. This is for marketing, people. Like, that's when I'm like, people like, what? Like, no, you don't understand. Podcasts, what this whole thing is to do is to market the stuff that you have going on. And people like to hear people talk about stuff. And it's not a lot of good content being made by mainstream stuff. So come on here and talk about your stuff. But it's always that like, oh, what's the ulterior motive? And it's only like that with black men. Because if I was a white man and trying to bring people on, swear to God, they'd be on here in a second. I swear to God. And all of this is done by me in here by myself. They have whole production teams. That's why I say black businesses don't support black people like that. And I'm not asking for support here. I'm just saying, like, if I reach out to, like, get it to, like, hey, come on the platform, I'm not trying to sneak talk to you. I want you to actually tell the people in Milwaukee about what you do, because I think what you do is something of value. And it's so frustrating dealing with that in the city. And on that note, I keep bringing it back to this same topic with black people in Milwaukee. They are phasing out black people because they are developing in Milwaukee. I drive from the hood to the to Third Ward every morning, right? That's where the studio is at, in the Third Ward. Like, it's a block and a half from Public Market. We like between Public Market and Summerfest. And I see it. It's developing. They're building these new on-ramps and they're extending the lanes of the highways for a reason. And I've explained it in like kind of private situations or like even on Facebook, but Chicago is getting so bad right now. If y'all ain't been down there, y'all don't understand. Even Lake Drive, all that stuff is dangerous as shit now in Chicago. Like, legitimately dangerous. Between the migrants and the kids. They got guns and switches, and they fighting over nonsense. Not saying it's nonsense because some of their homies died, but it's no base to the beef in the first place. The north suburbs of Chicago, and this is why I say people don't know stuff. Like, at recruiting, I recruited the suburbs of Chicago. I recruited Milwaukee when I was a football coach. So I was going to high schools in all of these areas, right? At the high school, you meet the actual people. In the northern suburbs of Chicago, it's so much old mob money that you will blow your fucking mind. Wisconsin Dells is a part of that, and then Monaco is a part of that. Like, those are people from Chicago money. And Chicago, the city, is getting so dangerous for them to go do stuff that where they're investing in Milwaukee, because it's close and it's 45 minutes away and it's a major city. they're not going to let y'all fuck they shit up. I mean that when I say it's going to get closer to Gaza on the north side and in the minority areas that are not bought up than anything, where they just won't let you motherfuckers out unless you got a reason, unless you going to work, unless you got to go shop. It's not going to let you out your zone. And that can happen real quick. You see how they cut the highways off? Cut the highways off. It's pretty much no access on the north side from Hampton to like Locust. That's the entire north side for the most part. So they can do that super, super easily. Just cut off access. And then what we gonna do? That's what I'm saying. Black people have to get it together. Have to get it together. Because it's to the point where it's so bad that it's not a fixable situation. And I want to leave it with this last point for the day. There is a difference between prejudice. That's why I said words have definitions for a reason. And people that try to change definitions or try to manipulate you. It's a difference between prejudice and racism, sexism, any ism you want to call it, right? Racism, sexism, ism is the fear of. Or phobic is the fear of. Sorry, the phobias. My bad. I was 100% wrong on that. But y'all get where I'm going with that. It's not racist to be prejudiced. You can be prejudiced and racist, and most racists are prejudiced. But everyone who's prejudiced is not racist. I'm going to slow that down because I know it's like a math problem, and I saw on Facebook how y'all do with math problems. Every racist is prejudiced. Fact. Everyone that's prejudiced does not have to be a racist. Okay? And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to go back to the last episode with my tiger in the zoo example. And it was actually a pretty good example, and it was kind of the top, but I didn't clarify it how I want to. So, not saying all tigers are chaotic, but so most white people that don't live in the city, most of the white people in America don't live in the city. Okay? Just I know people can't conceive that, but most of America is small towns. Most of it. Yeah, so it's big population centers in certain spots, but most of America is small towns. And to me, those are the best towns. I'm sorry. I've had more fun in small towns than I've had in any city. Only interactions they really have is if they have a college in their town and they have black people that come for college or TV. That's it. Usually the black people in these small towns aren't the highest quality of character people. So, only time this person sees black culture, right, is on TV or the ones that they have around them. So when they see another black person, their expectation is going to be what they've seen. Not what people that are really, really sketchy past and background are telling them they should feel, that critical race theory and shit like that. They're not going to think that. They're going to think about what they've experienced. Liberal white women specifically, and just soft white dudes, beta white dudes, they will think about the critical race theory about, I'm not going to talk bad about that black person because Rosa Parks sat on and go deep in history for some shit that is not even matters in the situation. Most white people are going to see like, the last black person I saw did this, so, that must be how black, that's the majority of how people are going to perceive it. So if you observe all the time, that's why, and I'm going to bring it, that's why presentation is so big. And y'all can think about this in other aspects. Black culture only does presentation for black women. That's why presentation is so much more important. So much more important. What are we presenting on our media for black culture? It's all like reality shows. It's ratchet shit. It's ratchet shit. It's either ratchet shit or sold out or like just completely incorrect. What are we showing So what is the expectation? So a lot of these people aren't racist, they're prejudiced. They don't hate black people. They're judging it off of what they've seen and what they expect from black people, which is a correction that's needed on our end of how we behave, how we are perceived. You can't expect someone to think the best of you when you're not doing good things. And it kind of mixes with how ingrained that matriarchal society has came in the black community, and the black fathers and grandfathers are gone. Because I see so many like get-togethers and stuff from my friends on Facebook, and I love family getting together. But one glaring thing I noticed is it's never no old black men in them. I never see the black men. It's a bunch of black women and kids. Just think about that. Think about that. And for whatever reason that is, that's not a shot at nobody or nothing like that. But it's just odd. I never see older black men in like the pictures with all the grandkids. And like I just see a bunch of older black women, middle-aged black women, younger black women, and kids. The only boys I see there are like 18 or younger. That's interesting to me. Very interesting to me. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. It's Kenny Cams. Peace.